C.J. Verdell ran for 208 yards and broke open the game with 2 long touchdown runs in the fourth quarter, and number 13 Oregon spoiled number 5 Utah's playoff hopes with a 37-15 victory in the Pac-12 championship game Friday night. The Utes, 11-2, number 5 CFP, came into the game hoping to make a case for one of the 4 playoff spots with the conference title but instead got overmatched by Oregon, 11-2, number 13 CFP, and lost their second straight Pac-12 championship game. They fell into a 20-0 hole in the first half and then gave up a 70-yard TD run to Verdell after cutting the deficit to 23-15, paving the way for the winner of the Big 12 title game between Oklahoma and Baylor to get into the playoff as long as number 1 LSU beats number 4 Georgia for the SEC championship. The Utes got back onto the game with 2 TD passes by Tyler Huntley in the third quarter. He connected with Zach Moss on a 24-yard play on the opening drive of the half to cut it to 20-7 and then threw a 25-yarder to Samson Nakua late in the third quarter to make it 23-15 following a 2-point conversion. The Utes then drove into Oregon territory before Huntley was sacked by Kevin Thibodeau on second down. Utah ended up punting on 4th and 4 from the Oregon 40 after being stopped on 3 fourth downs earlier in the game. Verdell struck with his big run 5 plays later and added a 31-yard score later in the fourth against the nation's top-ranked run defense to put the game out of reach. The Ducks set the tone early when they stuffed Moss for no gain on 2 short yardage attempts from the Oregon 33 on the opening drive. Oregon drove down and took the lead for good on Verdell's 3-yard run. The Utes kept making more mistakes and the Ducks only added to the lead. After forcing a 3-and-out, Oregon got a field goal on the next drive, then blocked a punt after Utah committed a false start on 4th and 1 before Brady Breeze intercepted a pass in the end zone. Oregon then struck on a 45-yard strike from Justin Herbert to Johnny Johnson 3 to make it 17-0, got another fourth down stop and led 20-0 at the break. The takeaway: Utah, the Utes were seeking their biggest win since joining the Pac-12 in 2011. Instead, they had a second straight disappointing performance in the conference title game after losing 10-3 to Washington last year. Now, instead of a playoff berth or even a spot in the Rose Bowl, the Utes now must hope to stay high enough in the playoff rankings to get into a New Year's Six game. Oregon, the victory left as many questions for the Ducks as answers. Had Oregon not blown a 21-6 second-half lead to Auburn in the opener or come out flat in a 31-28 loss at Arizona State 2 weeks ago, the Ducks could have been the team with a case for a playoff berth. Instead, they will have to settle for the Rose Bowl and laments about what could have been in Herbert's senior season. Up next: Utah, bowl game to be determined. Oregon, the Rose Bowl against a Big Ten team on January 1.